Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel, She Weaves Wisdom. My name is Serena and I use this platform to offer intuitive guidance. I tend to really enjoy tapping into the current energy and offering any divine guidance that I receive to those that subscribe to this channel. I also sometimes offer pick a card readings. I am just really following the threads of what feels inspired and guided at the time. Also really honoring my own energy and where I'm at and where I'm offering from. So for those that have been following my journey, I have been traveling. I actually have only just kind of recalibrated to being back in Australia, which is where I live predominantly. It's where I'm from. It's my birthplace. So I traveled the UK and Scandinavia for a month, and now I'm back on home soil. Something that became really clear to me as I was journeying overseas was the message that I am to step into the space of teaching and speaking and supporting those that are walking a soul-led path, those who are going through their own unique spiritual awakening journey. As someone who has been on this path for, over 10 years, it's really apparent that I'm being asked to step forward more fully to support those who are equally going through their own experience of that journey, that soul awakening journey. It can feel really challenging sometimes to be in this experience as a human being. It can feel like quite an isolated experience sometimes. And I'm here to remind you that you are not alone. You're not alone. I am wanting to be a channel and a voice to support those on their own journey in feeling that sense of reassurance, of hope, of faith. It's like sometimes we forget to trust and be faithful when we are moving through turbulent times. And if I can be a channel for that reassurance, that voice of God, the divine, the universe, whatever it is that you connect with, then I'm going to do it. I'm going to do that. Something I'm really committed to is authenticity and honesty around my own humanness. And it feels daunting to step into that space sometimes. And why that is there's this voice within me, my own inner critic, who speaks and says, who are you to offer this to others? But my soul and my own spirit team, my ancestors, my angelic team, my connection to the ascended masters, Jesus and Mary, and those that walk beside me in the subtle realms who are supporting me on my own journey. They speak up and they remind me of what it was like when I was walking my path, and still am. I'm still walking my path, and how necessary it has been for me to have a reference point of someone speaking to me as the voice of the divine when I've lost my trust, where I've kind of lost my connection, where I'm moving through my dark night of the soul, where I feel a little bit of disconnect. And so that's my commitment, is to lean in, to offer guidance, to be supportive however I can in these times as we really move through the world as souls having a human experience. You might, connect to light worker. You might connect to and resonate with earth angel. You might connect and resonate with star seeds. Whatever it is for you, I am getting out of the way and just allowing myself to use the gifts that I have been given, to honor the gifts that I've been given, and hopefully it supports someone out there on their journey and pathway. So what is the current energy? I'm just going to tune in. What is the current energy? Like, what is really present in the collective at this time? And how can I be of service? What messages can I offer those that are walking the soul-led spiritual awakening path at this time? What's here? We've got the Selkie and her skin, reclaiming your authenticity. So I'm just going to pull a few cards and then I'll get into it. I'm really connecting to the word kin. Freedom, independence, self-determination. What else is here? Divine sensuality. And it says, making love erotica. Honor the masculine, respecting men, embracing the masculine divine. Okay, give me a second. Just asking to be the clear channel and vessel. I really feel like this message is coming through from the divine feminine, the frequency of the divine feminine at this time. There's a stripping back. There is a process and an energy of stripping back. I've actually just been reminded, like, I'm actually peeling at the moment. Like, all of my skin is so dry and it's like these patches of like scales and it's like peeling off. And I feel this message around shedding skin, literally. It's like this rebirthing process where, and I'm being drawn to like the scales on the mermaid, her top half has transformed into human form where her tail is still scales, right? But I feel this like, and for some reason, I'm literally seeing now the Little Mermaid, the story of the Little Mermaid, and how when she transforms into human form and she basically sacrifices her voice for legs. So when she walks on land, her voice is gone. There is a reclaiming energy of authentic expression, this unbinding of the ways in which there's been sacrifice and suppression on authentic expression in the human world. And it's this peeling back. I just keep hearing peeling back to reclaim this authentic part of self. And I can feel there's a lot of fear around this, around speaking the truth, speaking your truth. I feel there is this rebellious part of you, though, that is committed to standing in what is true for you. Which is this freedom. It just feels like, and I'm hearing that song, 'cause I'm free to do what I want any old time. Yeah, there is a lightness. Whatever you're moving through in this moment, know that it's kind of pulling and peeling back any I just feel like this anchoring energy, anything that's kind of binding you to a past version of yourself, or binding you to ways in which you don't feel like you can be yourself. And I'm even feeling like this is more, I guess, this rediscovering yourself. It's like a self inquiry, self illuminating process of rediscovering these aspects of yourself. It feels really like it feels exciting, and it feels really centered around the deepest love. It's this release of shame. I feel like it's remembering your divine self. It's reconnecting to that divine innocence that exists within you. I also feel like with the honoring the masculine, I feel like there's this balancing happening within you, the energies within, like the union of the masculine and the feminine. It's self-talk. It's looking at how I actually feel, yeah, I feel this for myself too, of course. But it's this like balancing of both energies and looking at the structures we have in our physical reality that support both. It's having that balance of feminine embodiment and expression, as well as the masculine structure and intellect and discipline. But I feel like there's no, if there was charge or shadow or I'm feeling like charge, especially with the word discipline, because for me, that used to be a word that used to just be like, ick, discipline, right? It used to give me the ick. But just saying it, I feel the calmness around it. I feel this neutrality. It's like really honoring all aspects of yourself. This is amazing. And if and it's a continuous journey of soul evolution and discovering aspects, and the multidimensionality of our soul is such a beautiful exploration in this human life. And I feel like it's this reminder that it's just being really curious and rediscovering parts of self and soul, and letting these aspects shine and express and then shed and be reborn in new and different ways. It's this, I really feel this flow energy, that feminine energy of just, it just feels like flow, and it feels like allowing it to be what it wants to be and then letting it go. It's not trying to fixate or mold or control. It's like just letting it move through us. Yeah, that feels like part of the message. Excuse me, I'm just going to move my leg, it's going dead. What else is here? What else would like to be communicated? The rose of Venus. Guys, I love this so much. The Rose of Venus, alignment, flow, right relationship, harmony. And it's the balance. Look, the masculine and the feminine. It's that harmonious union, and it's inner union. Potentially it might be outer union, but for what I'm picking up, it's this inner union, right relationship with self and soul. And it feels like a balancing of the physical reality with the spiritual reality, mind, body, spirit, coming into right relationship with self. And from that point, it will be mirrored, it will be reflected back through the physical world. So if you have been feeling, because I 100% have, jet lag, coming back into Australia, I felt really, like, how would I describe it? I felt very out of sorts, really like discombobulated, like what's time, where am I, like did I actually just go overseas, was it a month, it felt like a year, like yeah, time is feeling really interesting at this time. So just finding practices that ground our energy is going to be supportive. And I feel like I speak to this all the time. You know, I'm not an expert at the astrology or those sorts of things, but I've got friends that speak to this. You know, there is the energy that we're in astrologically is also encouraging us to find ways to really ground, because there's a lot going on. And I think someone mentioned this beautiful wise woman that I know also mentioned about, actually two of them mentioned about the solar flares. So if that's something that you're curious on exploring, you can even Google it. But there is a lot happening astrologically. And so as we exist on this earth plane, we are, you know, receiving the energy that's happening in the universe. And so finding ways to slow down, to ground. One of my beautiful friends was talking about that being a practice of, throughout her day, she becomes present and just really checks in with herself, like finding ways to become present. I think that's really important at this time. And we have Whispers of Mother Earth, and it says creativity, ideas, inspiration, artist, writer channel. I feel there is a message around the crown chakra and the sacral chakra coming into this union as well. Like it's almost like there's this alignment happening with the central energy centers. Yeah, and it feels like this, it wants me to go back to that reference of the Little Mermaid, like, and her voice, practicing expressing through creativity. So it could be, and it's whatever feels most aligned for you. Something I've been practicing is singing more, sounding, like even just releasing, just releasing this area, writing, it does feel like it's more so around the throat. Communicating ideas, it feels like, you know, this open channel of creativity, and how we all have that. We all have this connection to the creative channel. And when we tune into it and tap into it, when we're open to it, we receive ideas and inspiration and creative hits to paint, to dance, to visionary things, what we want to create for our life, our future, collaborations. I'm also being shown, like, something I do that really supports me and that I actually did to help me anchor is I actually created I love using Pinterest, and I created an anchor board for when I came back to Australia with images that helped me anchor to a particular frequency, vibration, feeling, sense. It supports me. So this might be beneficial for you too. You just go onto Pinterest and I allow images to come into my mind's eye. And then I create the board from there. Like, how do I want to feel? How do I want to feel? What image allows me to feel that energy? What do I feel when I see that image? Again, like, just really attuning to the body. And like, when I look at particular things, there's so many messages coming through, but I'll speak about that in a second. When I look at particular images, I pay attention to how it makes my body feel. How do I feel on the inside when I look at this image? Because I'm a very visual person. So it's depending on like what your thing is. Maybe it's particular songs that create that emotive feeling. It's like what is it for you that helps your particular frequency feel grounded, feel centered and connected to yourself, to your most authentic self. So I'll bring back that other message, which was it? Can you please remind me? It came in, then it went. It's gone. It'll remind me in a second. There's just too much happening. Too much information. I was like, I don't like, whoa. And it had something to do with images, anchoring. I'm sure if you want me to share it, you'll remind me. What else is here? The red thread. And it says, good recognizes good. And there's a group of people sitting around enjoying a feast. It's this theme around, this is something else I've really been receiving, is when we are walking on this soul-led spiritual awakening path, it is really, really nourishing to have connections in our life that truly understand us, that understand the path that we're walking, that understand the experiences that we might be having. There's different groups and there's mentors and there's different avenues we can go into that support our journey. So it's that reminder that we're not alone. We're not alone in our experiences. So maybe you've been feeling curious about, connecting in with different groups. Be patient with it. Know that it's okay to try different environments, different groups. Be patient with finding what fits for you. But know there's people out there that get it and that resonate and that understand what you're moving through. And then surrender. I am in good hands. Yeah. This is just a reminder to flow, to ground, get yourself on the earth and spend some time in the sun. Simple practices that allow us to come into that frequency of presence. It's going to be really supportive at this time. That message didn't come back. So I can't remember what it was. I mustn't need to speak about it. What was I just saying about that's thank you. Seriously. I just love it. I was thinking, I mustn't need to, but now I remember the message. So it's the dove, and it says, the body never lies. Spirit speaks through the body. What came through before that I've also been receiving is this message around paying attention to how our body feels when we are receiving information. There's a lot of information in this world. It's so amazing. And it's really important to learn how to listen to the subtle cues of our body on what feels true for us and what doesn't, on what is for us and what is not. It is a practice, and it's just about becoming really present to how our body is feeling when we are watching certain things on social media. There's also like another layer where it's like being discerning around, am I just feeling triggered by this particular content? Is something in this content illuminating something inside of me that I get to look at and lovingly and compassionately explore? Or is my body kind of signaling, this doesn't feel good for us, let's disengage from this content, this type of frequency? So I'm going to give you an example. Sometimes if I'm watching particular movies, like I've had to get really, even though I love like horror movies and, you know, growing up, that was my thing. I loved horror movies. You can ask my mum. I was obsessed, right? And as I've gone along my journey, the more sensitive I've become to engaging with that content. So sensitive that, like, I know that as soon as it starts, there's a frequency to it, right? You've got to think about the frequency, the energy that is being communicated through that particular media, that frequency. What is coming towards you? What are you engaging in? What are you consuming? How does it make my body feel? Because the body will kind of give you that red alert system where it's like beep, beep, beep. You know, this feels really uncomfortable. I don't want to participate in this. And I feel there's this message around, you know, spirit is speaking through the body. It's like paying attention. How does this particular conversation, how's it making me feel? Like, is it a conversation I desire to participate in? Again, using your maturity and your discernment, is this a conversation that actually needs to be had, number one, in a mature, conscious way? Or number two, am I a part of a conversation that actually doesn't really that I don't really need to be a part of, and it's not feeling congruent with my values? It's not feeling aligned with who I am. Is this environment congruent with my soul, my frequency, my soul and alignment? Is, again, the media, is what I'm participating in a exchange of energy, is it actually aligned with my soul? And listening to the body's system, because our body does speak to us when something's a little bit off balance, and it's an art and it's a practice and it's a form that just needs to be practiced. It's like the gym, you know, you go to the gym, you lift weights, you build muscle. It's same with this very wise system of our body's intuitive knowing and communicative process. So that's the messages for now. That's what's here. I hope that it has been of service. I hope that it has landed where required. I'm sending you all so much love. Like I said, just remember you're not alone. There are people who are also walking this path. Yeah, I will check in again. I don't like doing these too closely together because it just feels like the energy, it's like a weekly thing, I feel. Now that I'm back from overseas, I might end up doing a few picker cards. We'll see how it flows. All right, my darlings, I'm sending you so much love and I'll talk to you soon. Ciao.